They stood there in their black suits, fake grief plastered across their Botoxed faces. My father adjusted his cufflinks like he was at a board meeting, not his own father's funeral. My mother dabbed her eyes without tears. And me? I didn't cry. I had buried the only man who ever raised me, but I didn't cry. I was too focused on what was coming. The lawyer cleared his throat and opened the envelope with Granddad's will. I watched their postures straighten, their eyes sharpened like vultures circling fresh kill. They thought they knew what was inside. They didn't. I still remember the night they left me with him. I was 9. My father had a new job in Dubai. My mother said I'd be better off in the countryside. She didn't even hug me goodbye. Grandpa opened the door that night barefoot, hammer in hand, grease on his face. He looked at me, then at them, and said, "Leave the boy, no questions." He didn't believe in asking why people left. He believed in showing you how to survive once they did. He taught me how to build a table, wire a generator, break a man's nose if I had to. He didn't coddle me, but he never abandoned me either. When I broke my arm falling off the barn roof, he didn't panic. He drove me to the ER himself and told the nurse, "He's tough, just needs a cast." He was right. He made me tough. And when I turned 18, he made me his business partner. That's what they didn't know. While they were living like royalty in foreign countries, I was building legacy with calloused hands and blueprints. By the time I was 25, I was managing the ranch, the workshops, the patents, the land, and the quiet investments he'd made in tech startups. Granddad played dumb, always wore those dirty overalls, but he was sharp. Silent rich. The kind who never showed his cards until it mattered. And it mattered now. The lawyer began to read. Generic preamble. Then, to my beloved grandson, who never needed to be told he was my son because he showed up every damn day, I leave everything. Silence. The kind that stretches, suffocates. The lawyer looked up, adjusted his glasses. That includes the house, land, business assets, patents, and my entire financial estate, valued at just under $112 million. My mother's hand twitched. My father blinked too fast. The vultures had misjudged the corpse. To my son and daughter-in-law, the lawyer continued, I leave a watch that never worked and a recipe for disappointment. They'll know what it means. I did. It was a joke between Grandpa and me. Every time they called, once a year, asking for money, he'd wind that broken watch and say, "Guess what time it is? Time to disappoint them again." Now it was official. They started to protest. My father rose, voice cold, measured. There must be a mistake. No mistake, I said, standing up, finally meeting his eyes. For years, you didn't visit, didn't call. You only came back for this. You manipulated him, my mother snapped. He was old. I stepped forward, calm. Old doesn't mean stupid. He saw who showed up and who didn't. She turned red. We were building a future. You abandoned your son, I cut in, and left him with a man you thought was nothing more than a rusty wrench. That wrench built an empire. With me. My voice didn't rise. I didn't need it to. I'd already won. I walked out before they could say more. Let them drown in their own silence. I drove back to the ranch, parked under the old oak tree where Grandpa used to drink his coffee. I sat in his chair. The leather still warm from the sun. Birds chirping like nothing had changed. But everything had. I remembered being 9, the first time I held a nail gun. My hands shook. He didn't say, "You're too small." He just said, "Aim straight, don't flinch." I didn't flinch today either. I could have rubbed their faces in the money. I could have sued for abandonment. I could have banned them from the funeral altogether. But Grandpa taught me better than revenge for the sake of revenge. He taught me timing. He taught me silence. He taught me that when someone shows you what you mean to them, believe them. They showed me, and I let them sit with it. Broke, bitter, and now forgotten. The empire they thought was theirs died the moment they drove away that night. I was 9. Now I own it, and all I did was show up.